Okay, so I have now logged into the portal, and now I will show you how to create a virtual machine scale set. So virtual machine scale set, you can go to global search and type virtual machine scale set. See, you are getting this option. Click on the scale set option, select create button, and select the subscription, select the resource group. I'm going to keep this scale set in our Western Europe RG01 only, and virtual machine scale set name you can define my VM scale set 01. Okay, where I wanted to create, I wanted to create in the Western Europe. You can select the Western Europe region, and you can even select if you want to keep this availability set in zones also, but I don't want to keep it in the AZ. Okay,
Sir, you're on mute.
I have selected availability zone option none. Now I'll move on to the orchestration mode. I will select the orchestration as flexible because I want to increase the high availability at I should have the same virtual machines identical. That is the reason I'll just go with the flexible option. And security, I'll just go with the by default trusted launch virtual machine only. And here in the scaling mode, I don't want to have manual increase or decreases. I want to keep it automatically. So I'll just select the auto scaling based on the CPU metrics and schedule. Okay. Click on configure, and you see when you click on configure, you have to define the condition, the scaling condition. Okay, what I will do, I will not create any one new one, but I'll just edit the existing one and just look for the whether my conditions are correct or I have to modify anything. So let me share the change the condition name. The condition name I can give my scaling condition 01. Okay, and how many number of initial instances you wanted, and it says minimum 2. Initial instance should be 2, means it will by default it will have 2 virtual machines available in this scale set minimum, no matter whether the usage is there 10% or 100%. Minimum should be 2. That is what I'm defining. Okay, initial count is this one, minimum is 2 and maximum is 20. Up to 20 virtual machines it will go. After 20, even though the usage is 99% or 100% also, it will not increase as the number of count because maximum defined count is 20 only. So you cannot increase more than 20 counts as you're already defined 20. If you still want to increase, then you have to come to this condition and increase the count from 20 to maybe 25 or 30, depending on your requirement. And scale out happens when? Scale out should happen whenever there is a CPU threshold greater than 80%. You can define 70, 80, how much ever your business requires, you can just define it. Okay, so 80% is decent. So 80% is decent, so keep it 80%. So you have defined you should have 2 virtual machines minimum, and when the CPU usage goes 80% for both the virtual machines, you need to define how many number of instances should increase. You have defined 1. So we should always define increases the virtual machine by 1 count whenever the usage goes more than 80%. That is called as scale out. And scale in, you can define not 20% is very less. So what we will do, you keep 60%. Whenever the CPU utilization comes to 60% for all the 3 virtual machines, then reduce the count by 1. Then if you reduce the count by 1, whoever is there in the third virtual machine, they will be distributed to the remaining 2 virtual machines. That time the count may go up to 70% or 75%. That is within less than 80% only. So we are good there. And how frequently the query should be going and checking in the virtual machines about the CPU and memory utilization. So within 10 minutes or every 10 minutes, you are defining every 10 minutes you should go and check the utilization of the virtual machine. Okay, that you have to define. So that is the 10 minutes duration. So every 10 minutes you should go and check the utilization. If the utilization is less than 80%, no need to do any action. If the utilization is more than 80%, then go and increases the size. And parallelly check if the utilization is less than 60% for all the virtual machines, then reduce the virtual machine by one count. Okay, then you can save this. And this is a predictive auto scaling. If you want to analyze the pattern, so say for example, today on a big billion day, you see around 9 o'clock you have around 10,000 users, 10 o'clock around 30,000 users, 11 o'clock close to 1 lakh users. So based on that tendency or the pattern, the number of users are getting into the application, they are started using the application, the auto scaling or this predictive auto scaling will define and tell you what is the maximum number of users can be logged into the application today. So based on that also it will help you to predict the auto scaling, how many number of virtual machines it can go up to, that prediction it will do. Okay, you can select that. And diagnostic logs also you should always always enable this one, so that you will know what time how many virtual machines got increases and how long it took, all those things you can see that. Okay, and apply the deletion option also, and the newest virtual machines. Okay, so what I will do, I will just it was selected, right? Boot diagnostic was selected. If I select this boot diagnostics, then I have to, not the boot diagnostics, the logs, diagnostics logs. If I want to select, I have to create one storage account, actually some workspace I have to create and link it. That is why I will uncheck. I don't want this as of now, this since it is a lab environment. And scale in policy, newest virtual machine. Okay, and balance across the zone, then delete the newest created virtual machine. If you remember, while cleaning up, I told you the latest or the newest virtual machine should be deleted, correct? And that is our motive. So select that newest virtual machine and click on save option. Now you can go to the operating system image, select what image you wanted. It is a 2022 operating system, and then go to the sizes available. I don't have any sizes because I already have virtual machines here in the Western Europe. Let me delete couple of virtual machines and then I will select the required sizes here. Now you see I have deleted the existing virtual machines and I just refreshed it and I can see the available VMs now. See here I have couple of virtual machines. What I will do, since it is a lab environment, I'll just go with 2 virtual CPU and 8 GB memory. Okay, and now you need to define the username. What is username should be there for the virtual machines? It should be your local administrator, and the password you can define whatever password you wanted. Okay, and next to go to spot, ignore this one, let me go with spot plus. Spot instance means, so they, I mean in each and every data center Microsoft reserve some additional capacity. Okay, in case of any requirement comes suddenly, say for example you are using Western Europe region and suddenly you want to build around 1000 virtual machines suddenly without any plan. So to suffice that kind of sudden requirements in each and every data center, Microsoft manages some additional capacity, reserved capacity, and we call that as spot instances. And what they will do, they will they will give that spot instances for the users for their test workloads and lab environment and any kind of non production environment testing. Basically they call it as dev and test activity. They'll give spot instances and they will give that for very good discount. Say for example if you pay normal instances for 2 CPU and 4 GB memory, if you pay per hour 10 dollars or 10 rupees. If you go with spot instances for the same configuration, they will give for 3 rupees or $3 per hour. Example. So you will get around 60 to 70% discount for the spot instances. But only one demerit is whenever there is a capacity crunch comes in the data center, Microsoft will not even tell you that they are going to remove your virtual machine, virtual disk from that hardware. They will shut down your hardware, operating system, and they will take that hardware back for their utilization. That is the only difference. Okay, that is the such kind of virtual machines we call it as spot instances. So here I will select spot plus on demand. Okay, so now click on that condition is fine, capacity only, eviction type is capacity only, and stop and deallocate. See, maximum price you want to pay per hour you can define. Okay, and eviction policy, what you want to do when the utilization comes down, you can just stop or deallocate, not delete here. Okay, you can select how whatever things conditions required, you can define it, no problem. Click on disk option and you can select how much disk size you want it. You want it 127 GB for the C drive, and you want any data drive? No, normally application will be there in the C drive only, so you keep it in the C drive. So networking, this is very important. You need to select in which VNet you need to build the VM. So if you go to Western Europe RG01, okay, you can select Western Europe VNet 01. Whatever virtual network you wanted, you can define, and all the new virtual machines will get defined, deployed in the same VNet. And the IP address will be keep on continuing. Today, if it is 172.16.1.5, the new virtual machines will start with 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 like that. And when it is deleting, it will delete the last one 1.9, 1.8, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5 like that. Okay. So this is very important to select the VNet also. Click on management. Just go with the default and just tags also. I don't need to do anything here since it is my lab environment, and click on review and create. So basic something is missing here. Okay, what is missing? Let me changing the basic option may reset selections you have made. Review all the options. Okay. This size does not support the. Okay, then let me go with this one. Review. I just change the instance type. Actually, some instances are not available in the spot instance. That is why it is telling this instance is not available. So not supporting. So I'm just reviewing it and then just clicking on the create option. Click details. Let me go what is the problem and see. Request a VM size for resource following SKU has failed capacitor extension. Okay, currently not available on the location Western Europe. Okay, I think some SKUs are not available. Let me go to the basics here, and can see something can be changed here. See the recommended size. If I can select this one, review and create. So what I did, I have just changed the location from Western Europe to Eastern US. Okay, and turned off the spot. Here spot instance was turned on, right? So there was no spot instances available. Then I just turned off. When I review and create, I can see my validation is done. I can see the validation is completed. I can simply click on create virtual machine. The scale set, virtual machine scale set, the deployment got initiated now. So we have to wait for this to complete. Then we can see the scale set created. Then you can build a virtual machine in this scale set. See, normally what happens whenever you are building the virtual machine here, say for example, if you go to create virtual machine and you define, okay, where you want to create, maybe you want to create in the RG scale set example, okay, because it is in East US, virtual machine name can be VM001. East US, you want it availability, this option you have to select. In the availability option, what you have to do, you have to select whether you want no redundancy, or you want availability zone, or availability set, or virtual machine scale set. If you select the virtual machine scale set, then you need to select the one which we have created. See, my VM scale set 01. This is the one we have just created. But if you are not selecting anything, say for example, you have built a virtual machine already, okay, and you here while building you have selected no infrastructure redundancy required. That time you cannot add to the scale set after you build the virtual machine. Means once you build the virtual machine, you cannot add it to the virtual machine scale set. So if you want to build a virtual machine within the scale set, you need to plan properly, and while building itself, you can select the redundancy as virtual machine scale set. After the building, if you build a virtual machine without the virtual machine scale set, then you cannot add back that VM to the virtual machine scale set. Okay, now I will just select virtual machine scale set, this one, and fault domain, all these things automatically comes. So image, you can select the 2022 operating system, and the size, you can see available sizes. Let me just select one for now here. I can only see only one CPU, that's fine, and you can add the local administrator account. And you can define the password also. I just enter the password and confirm password, and see RDP. This is what the NSG. You need to select this one. Disk is fine. You go with the 128 GB networking. You please keep it in the RGVM scale set VNet. It automatically created a VNet. Okay. So RGV scale set. Select that one only. Create next. Management, review, and create. By the time if you see here, your virtual machine scale set is ready. You can go to the scale set and see all the parameters that you have defined. Now it is validation a success. Create. Now you are creating the virtual machine within the virtual machine scale set that you have created here. You can see the number of instances here. If you come here, it will see this is your, I told you, right, there are minimum 2 virtual machines. This is the virtual machine scale set. Okay, minimum 2 virtual machines will be there, and I am going to deploy within the same VM scale set. Okay, so this is how you create the virtual machine scale set and deploy the virtual machines within the virtual machine scale set. I think that's it on the scale set. That's it, guys. You can see the new virtual machine VM001 is getting built here, and you can see all the number of virtual machine instances here. You can just go through all the blades. Overview blade is here, activity logs, instances, and if you want to see what is the VNet information, networking settings, you have any load balancing, all those things can be seen here. Okay, so that's it on the VM scale set. Thank you all for joining. I am going to stop the recording. Thank you.